Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Debbie Cooper. The RNC's top cop has said he's sorry. Chief Joe Brown apologized to Dane Spurl and his mother today. An apology for how police officers put Dane in the lockup Saturday night after they failed to realize he was autistic. They thought Dane was intoxicated, but he was just walking home. Now his mother is waiting for others to apologize, but for Dane, any apology may not be enough. Here and Now, Zach Gowdy joins us live.
RNC Chief Joe Brown made a public apology to the Spurls from here at RNC headquarters this afternoon. He had already apologized in private to them at their home this morning. But while Joe Brown was here speaking to reporters, Dane Spurl was walking down that stretch of road to the video store for the first time since he was arrested.
She was like, hint of advice, walk on the sidewalk.
Dane Spurl didn't see any sidewalk, so he didn't stop. The police officers didn't see that he was autistic, so they arrested him. Today, the chief of police said it was his officers who were in the wrong.
I wish I could turn back time, but we can't. So the best thing we can do now is to apologize sincerely and figure out where we go from here to make things better.
What he said and did here today really restored my faith.
Diane Spurl says despite what happened to her son, she's upset that some people have used the incident to publicly bash the RNC.
The community needs to trust their policing agencies. They need to feel secure, and the police need to know that they have the support of the communities in which they work.
The RNC response to what happened has Diane's support too. So far, she's waiting for an apology from the RNC officers who arrested her son, particularly from the officer who defended his actions on the CBC.ca comment board. The chief of police says she'll get both apologies soon. Diane says her real fight is with the guards at St. John's lockup.
It was just, I believe, mean-spirited for them not to let that child phone me.
Did you tell them you were autistic, Dane?
No, because I personally don't think I am.
Okay. What did you tell them? You told them it was a misunderstanding.
Yes.
Did you go on? Did you try to clear it up any more than that?
I kept on saying, call my mom.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't.
So no matter what anyone says to Dane now,
I still don't trust them.
Are you satisfied with the apology you got?
Yeah.
What would be satisfactory to you now?
Them buying the rest of my tickets.
Tickets for what?
For the Lupus Foundation.
Dane is selling tickets on a couple of prints to raise money for the Lupus Foundation. He's going to keep doing that no matter what else happens. Meanwhile, the RNC put out this release just a half an hour ago. They say that at the time Spurl was being detained, there were two women sitting in a green car in a parking lot near to where the incident took place. And they're asking anybody, those two women or anyone who may be able to identify them, to come forward and help with this investigation. Live in St. John's, I'm Zach Gowdy for Here and Now.
Justice Minister Tom Marshall has asked top corrections officials to speak with Diane Spurl about how her son was treated in custody. Marshall told Here and Now he's asked the superintendent of prisons and his assistant deputy minister to meet with Spurl as soon as possible.
Well, the incident has been very unfortunate, and I'm hoping at the end of the day here, the lessons we'll learn from this will help to make the police better and the way they react in situations like this better. So there could be some valuable lessons that are going to be learned here.
Well, this case has raised many questions about how Dane Spurl was treated when he was in custody and why he wasn't allowed to call his mother. And many of you have raised those same questions in emails and feedback. Here and Now took some of those questions to two well-known defense lawyers. Here and Now's David Cochran has our story.
When the police took Dane Spurl here to the lockup, he didn't want to call his lawyer. He wanted to call his mom. Despite his repeated pleas, he never got the chance.
Now, I understand why they probably can't let, just to make the police work, you can't let every single individual call into a family member, have family members, but you have to use common sense.
Veteran defense lawyer Bob Simmons says people who get arrested have no legal right to call anyone except their lawyer. But in cases like this, police need to exercise better judgment. Dane Spurl didn't have a weapon, he was alone and not threatening anyone. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He asked for his mom.
You got an 18-year-old who appears to be under some disability, who has a cell phone, who repeatedly says, "Can I call my mother?" can I call my mom? You know, that cries out for a little common sense, a little saying, hey, maybe we should do this.
When the police arrest someone, they have to inform them of the rights and the details of the charge. Then they have to allow that person to make contact with a lawyer. But the police also have to make sure the person charged understands exactly what that means. In some circumstances, that means taking extra steps. A good example is if the arrested person is deaf or doesn't speak English. Dane Spurl's autism would likely mean he didn't understand any of what was happening to him.
In those circumstances, there's a very positive obligation on the police officers. I mean, and the Supreme Court kind of said they must take the extra step to ensure the individual understands his or her right.
Bob Buckingham says the cops should have recognized that Spurl needed help.
The next step would have been obviously to call his parents or something of that nature. He was a young man, just 18 years of age, and it appears that his ability to comprehend is quite evident.
But while the arrest and the handling of Dane Spurl are subjects of intense criticism, Bob Simmons did praise the police for their reaction once all the facts were known. He says the fact that the police were willing to call an investigation and offer a public apology shows that the RNC is willing to admit its mistakes and learn from them. David Cochran, CBC News, St. John's.